Hello, and welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. What? Okay. My name is Taylor Chazen, and I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge our presence on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. With respect for the rights and wisdom of indigenous peoples, we acknowledge our harmful colonial histories and commit to decolonizing our own practices, to learning new ways of being in community and with each other, in good relationship with the indigenous people of this land and with the land itself. Today is our pastoral care service led by Senior Minister Reverend Dr. Omega Burkhart, with music by music director Dr. Zenaida Robles, the neighborhood choir, and the neighborhood bells. Please take a moment to silence your devices as we begin our service. Thank you for joining us as we continue to prioritize connection over perfection in this hybrid service, which is streamed and recorded on YouTube. Families with young children are welcome in the sanctuary or the narthex. Some things going on today. Neighborhood People of Color will be meeting today at 1 p.m. in room 21 in the programs building. And our new fiber arts group, FATE, is meeting this afternoon after this service from 1 to 3 p.m. in the neighborhood house living room. Please feel free to attend all or part of the meeting. This week, on Wednesday, October 25th, we will be having our monthly board meeting. Members are welcome to join the open part of the meetings. It will be located in room 21 from 6 to 8 p.m. And to view the agenda and monthly report, check out our newsletter or website. Also this Friday, October 27th at 6 p.m., please join us for an all-ages Halloween party for LGBTQIA Two-Spirit Plus members, family, friends, and allies. This is a potluck, so bring your spookiest or creepiest dish to share with 8 to 10 people. Costumes are encouraged. For questions, contact me or Kathy Goodson. Our order of service and more extensive announcements are available as a link in the Sunday email, posted in the narthex, or through the QR code on the back of your hymnal. You can always get more information on these and many other activities in our newsletter. If you are a visitor, please swing by our welcome table to find out ways you can be connected to our many groups and how you can sign up for our newsletter. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, whoever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
We gather this morning to celebrate a heritage of caregiving and care receiving, the heart work of this community, the sacred acts that bring companionship to those who need it, the holy acts that do for others what they might not be able to do for themselves, and to celebrate that we in our course of life in this community will sometimes be the receiver and also the giver of that care. We light the chalice to hold space for all of us in that way today, a true partnership of pastoral care. Come, let us honor this heart work today. Today we will hear some of the voices of those in this community who have been impacted by the power of our loving pastoral care committee. I would invite Barb and Andy Eaton up, and you can use the ramp here in the back or steps up here in the front to go around the bells table, and we'll hear other voices throughout our service this morning.
Good morning. I'm Andy Eaton. This is my wife, Barb. We've been church members for over 30 years at this point, and although we love this church for a lot of reasons, pastoral care is right at the top of our list. Over the last 5 years in particular, we've reached out for services multiple times, and it's not only because we are older adults and things happen when you get old. The younger generation of our family has benefited also. In early 2019, our daughter Lauren Morley and her husband Mike drew on pastoral care for visits and meals when their twins came into the world. We've heard Lauren rave about pastoral care from the pulpit, even when she was supposed to be talking about something else.
So how have we ourselves benefited from pastoral care? In 2019, I had my first of several back surgeries, which limited my mobility for a while. And just as an aside, it helped a lot. Anyway, we alerted pastoral care that we could use some meals and visits for a few weeks, and they just kept coming. And if there is one thing we can say about this church, it's that there are some good cooks in our congregation, excellent cooks. In 2023, I had another back surgery, and we needed meals again, and they just kept coming. The meals supported Andy while I was in the hospital so he could spend time with me, and they supported us after I came home. People offering to visit helped a lot to limit my feeling of isolation during this time, and allowed me to focus on my recovery and for Andy to focus on ensuring our dogs got their proper amount of attention. We didn't need to worry about details of preparing meals. In June, I needed to go to the emergency room while Andy was on the East Coast, and pastoral care stepped in and gave me a ride. It's not just about meals and visits. Pastoral care is in continual touch with Andy, was in continual touch with Andy thanks to the airplane Wi-Fi. I didn't know about that, but I'm glad he was, while I was being checked out. And, okay, there. I read yours too.
No problem. You want to read mine?
I could.
So, the thing about pastoral care at Neighborhood is that it illustrates the nature of our village of mutual caring. It's not just about meals, as Barb pointed out, but it's outreach and the demonstration that we're a community. I loved it when Reverend Omega mentioned pastoral care in the ministry startup workshop last week. Not only have we drawn on these resources, but we've made sure to offer our own to others in the church. I can think of more than a few families with new babies who got meals from us, which provided us an excuse to see a new baby. For pastoral care, people give of their time as they can and should always feel free to request help when needed. At Bob Holmes' service yesterday, there must have been 30 people from pastoral care who had stepped up to help out. Because we're UUs, we don't believe in sin, But if we did, we would argue that asking for help when needed is not a sin. That's what a community is here for. Thank you for all you do.
Our opening hymn, our hymn of the month essentially, is Spirit of Life. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 123 in your gray hymnal or on the screens above, Spirit of Life.
Good morning. I'm Matt Vasco, Neighborhood's Director of Spiritual Exploration. It's great to be with you all this morning. This Sunday is Pastoral Care Sunday. And so we're thinking of all the ways that our community comes together to care for one another. And when I look around inside our sanctuary, I can see ways that we're caring for one another right now. We're doing things like having a mask-only section here in the front for people who need to be in a mask in order to be with us this morning. We have the hearing loops available that function along with hearing aids to make it easier for people to hear the service. We have this nice ramp coming up to our chancel now to make access for all up to our chancel, whether someone is on wheels or simply has trouble navigating stairs. So I see lots of ways that we're caring for one another and creating a more inclusive space for one another. And that's what my book is about today. It's called We Move Together. It's got two authors that wrote the words, Kelly Frisch and Ann McGuire, and the person who did all the pictures is named Eduardo Trejos. And I'm just going to ask all of the kids to just stay in their seats today because we have our wonderful bell choir with us today, and we just don't have space up front for everybody right now. So I'll do my best to share the pictures around the room. We move together. There's actually a nice little right up here in the front, which I'll read too, because it's a pretty short book. All bodies are unique and essential. I'm going to read that again. All bodies are unique and essential. All bodies are whole. All bodies have strengths and needs that must be met. We are powerful not despite our complexities of our bodies, but because of them. We move together with no body left behind. This is disability justice. That's by Aurora Levins Morales and Patty Byrne. We move fast. We move fast. We move slow. We move together. Sometimes we have to wait. Waiting can feel boring, frustrating, hard. Waiting can also be exciting. Like butterflies, like love, we wait so we can spend time together. Sometimes when we're together, we get stopped in our tracks. And here we've got a mother and daughter who want to go get some ice cream, but there's a step in front of the ice cream store and mom's in a scooter. Like when all the fun and flavors of ice cream are just one step out of reach. We notice when things are unfair, and it helps us get creative. And then we see people designing ramps and building ramps and painting ramps. And it says, we make plans, we solve problems. We build something better, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're building something better. And there's a street with bike lanes, and places with step all have ramps now, and there are ramps to the crosswalk. We work together, kids and dogs, bodies and machines, bees and flowers, fish and water. Relying on each other helps us get where we need to go. Sometimes we find ourselves in unfamiliar places. We wonder. We get curious. And this looks like it's a art exhibit showing off art that includes sign language. And there's a person signing to a group of children. It says, we might have more questions than answers. Our questions can help us to learn to do things differently. Isn't our pastoral care team wonderful about that? Always finding ways to do things differently. And discover new ways of understanding each other. For the things that connect us are also what nourish us, like roots and tubes and straws and friends. And these things that connect us are often what challenge us. Sometimes we disagree about how to be together. Solving one problem can create another, and we don't always know how to make things better. And there are children making signs. One sign on one side of the page says, "Skip the straw," and then a sign on the other side of the page say, "Straws are access." A little bit about the straw debate. Sometimes we need to take a break. Sometimes we need to take a break. Even when we're by ourselves, we never move alone, like feeling so close with someone who's far, like learning from others who came before, our heritage. Their memories can ground us, soothe us, move us. Whether we're by ourselves or surrounded by many, our small movements can turn into big movements. We celebrate, we make change. And there's a beautiful sign here that says, "Access is love." And I like this sign that says, "Nothing about us without us." Isn't that a good one? We move together. The end. At this time, let's sing our children and youth out to their spiritual exploration classes.
Giving is a spiritual practice through which we put our values into action. Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of its contributions to a local social justice organization or activity. In addition to the plate, online giving is available using the QR code on the donations box just outside the sanctuary, or using the text instructions shown on the screen. If you wish to make a payment toward your pledge or contribute to church operations, make a note in the subject line or use an envelope available at the donation box. This week, our gifts go to Neighborhood's Team Lucas. Here to tell us more, after changing his hat, is Matt Vasco, the Team Lucas captain.
Hey, I'm back. Okay, so yes, I am, in addition to being our director of spiritual exploration, I am captain of Team Lucas for the 2023 Walk Out of the Darkness. Team Lucas is Neighborhood Church's team that annually participates in the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's Walk Out of the Darkness to help raise vital funds for the important work they do. The church formed a team in 2017, encouraged by church member Susan Pender, who sadly lost her son Lucas to suicide in 2012 while he was a member of our senior high school youth group. Lucas was a talented artist and loved the color purple. So our team wears purple t-shirts each year and bears the name Team Lucas to honor and remember him. From 2018 to 2022, Susan Pender and I worked together on Team Lucas. I lost a family friend to suicide the same year that Lucas passed, and Susan and I always agreed with the AFSP motto, which is talk saves lives. We both felt passionately that having Team Lucas here at Neighborhood Church and talking about suicide prevention would help prevent anything similar from ever happening again in this community. Sadly, we lost Susan last year to natural causes, but the important work that Susan started still remains. I hope that you'll join me and other Neighborhood Church members in the Walk Out of the Darkness on Saturday, November 4th, right here in Pasadena. The walk is fairly short and is always highly meaningful. If you're passionate about suicide prevention, then this walk is for you. Flyers with a link to join our team will be available on the spiritual exploration table after service. We're grateful that today's Share the Plate collection benefits Team Lucas and the advocacy work of AFSP. Perhaps you've heard now that there's a national 988 number for people to call in the case of a mental health crisis. AFSP was a major part of making that national 3-digit number happen. They lobbied extensively for that. They also successfully advocated to get that number on the backs of student IDs in the state of California. So please, give generously. And if you're able, please walk with Team Lucas on Saturday, November 4th. Thank you.
This next anthem, A Gaelic Blessing, features both our bell choir and our adult choir. The words are a blessing that begins and continues throughout with the words deep peace of the running wave, deep peace of the flowing air, deep peace of all these things. We, in the spirit of pastoral care, deep peace to all of you.
The next in our community voices to share with us the importance of pastoral care in our community is Judith Lovely. Judith, would you please join us?
That was a real journey. I am Judith Lovely, and I am here to tout the wonderfulness of our pastoral care. I've heard it said many times that this is the heart of our church. And if you've ever been the recipient of the help of the pastoral care team and Sue Erie, then you'll agree with that statement. I recently had an example of that during the memorial service for my late husband, Sam. It's a complicated time, a sad time, but when I talked to Sue and we did all the arranging of the things that she and her team would take care of, I ordered flowers, food, all the things that you have to take care of during that time. And then Sue said to me right before the service, Judith, your job now is to let us take over the food. Don't worry, we'll do it well. And you relax and be part of Sam's service. What a gift, what a gift. But pastoral care does more than that. You need a ride to a doctor, or here to church, or you need a meal, or even someone to go to the doctor with you to be another pair of ears. That's the sort of things that pastoral care provides. It's rewarding. I can remember one time many years ago taking a meal to a couple with a new baby. It was a beautiful baby. And now I see him, a beautiful boy. And it was generational. That was 3 generations participating in this happy occasion. So think about volunteering. It's rewarding. It's part of a team that works well, and you're needed. Thank you.
I have 2 quotes for you today, 2 short readings as we honor the heritage of pastoral care here in this community. The first one is from Rachel Naomi Remen, and she writes this in Kitchen Table Wisdom. The healing of our present woundedness may lie in recognizing and reclaiming the capacity we all have to heal each other. The enormous power in the simplest of human relationships, the strength of a touch, the blessing of forgiveness, the grace of someone else taking you just as you are and finding in you unexpected goodness. Everyone alive has suffered. It is the wisdom gained from our wounds and from our own experiences of suffering that makes us able to heal. Becoming expert has turned out to be less important than remembering and trusting the wholeness in myself and everyone else. Expertise cures, but wounded people can best be healed by other wounded people. Only other wounded people can understand what is needed, for the healing of suffering is compassion, not expertise. The second quote that I would share with you today is from Fred Mr. Rogers. He writes, When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, "Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping." To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world. I'd like us to take a moment of silence in this community here to honor the space of love inside our hearts as we have been helpers and we have been helped. And then we'll move into a moment of music afterwards. The healing of our present woundedness, these are the words I read a few moments ago from Rachel Naomi Remen. The healing of our present woundedness may lie in recognizing and reclaiming our capacity we all have to heal each other. Our human nature means that our lives are defined by moments of joy and accomplishment, but sometimes also need and suffering. Our human nature is also defined by our capacity for healing and joy and accompaniment of others. And this is the heart work that is building community. Heart work that is co-created. You create it for each other. There are times when you need to give to others of your heart, and other times when you are in need of that caregiving. There are many ways that we do this in our church community, and there are levels that we can think about this as individual work and congregational work and also community work. I, as your minister, can hold space for you as an individual. I can accompany you in moments of pain or questioning or grief. I can spend time with you when you cry. If it's your preference, I can read with you or pray with you. I can also celebrate your successes, because pastoral care doesn't only mean care in bad times. On a congregational level, my role in pastoral care takes on a different tenor. I work with this team here to create meaningful rituals that create space for mourning, such as celebrations of life, or celebrations, such as weddings or child dedications. As a religious leader, I consider it part of my mission to create compassionate care spaces for our community as well, such as the candlelight vigil that we had on Monday evening, a prayer vigil for peace here on our labyrinth. Spaces where people from this community and our broader world can feel held as we grieve and we work to make a better world for all of us. But the heart work of this congregation is not only mine, it is yours as well, on the individual level and on the congregational level and on the community level. It is mostly done by you. I have partners in this sacred work. You have partners in this sacred work. You co-create this community. You co-create the beloved community by working together to create it. No one can do it all the time. You will take the lead sometimes, and in other times you will rest and accept that care as it is extended to you. I'd like to share a short story with you. This is a retelling of a story that appears in Genesis 2 of the Bible. It is retold by Rabbi Mark Gelman, so I will read his retelling of this story. Before there was anything, there was God, a few angels, and a huge swirling glob of rocks and water with no place to go. The angels asked God, "Why don't you clean up this mess?" So God collected the rocks from the huge swirling glob and put them together in clumps and said, "Some of these clumps of rocks will be planets, and some will be stars, and some of these rocks will just be rocks." And then God collected water from the huge swirling glob of water and put it together in pools and said, "Some of these pools will be oceans, and some will become clouds, and some of this water will just be water." Then the angel said, "Well, God, it is tidier now, but is it finished?" And God answered, "Nope." On some of these rocks, God placed growing things and creeping things and things that only God knows what they are. And when God had done all of this, the angel said, "Is the world finished now?" And God answered, "Nope." God made a man and a woman from some of the water and dust and said to them, "I'm tired now. Please finish up the world for me." Really, it's almost done. But the man and the woman said, "We can't finish the world alone. You have all the plans, and we are too little." "You are big enough," God answered them. "But I agree to this. If you keep trying to finish the world, I will be your partner." The man and the woman asked, "What's a partner?" And God answered, "Partner is someone you work with on a big thing that neither of you can do alone. If you have a partner, it means you can never give up because your partner is depending on you. On the days you think, 'I am not enough,' and on the days I think you are not doing enough, even on those days, we are still partners, and we must not stop trying to finish the world. That's the deal." And they all agreed to the deal. Then the angels asked God, "Is the world finished yet?" And God answered, "I don't know. Go ask my partners." I love this retelling of Genesis in this language because it demonstrates how the work of creation of our beloved community is the work of all of us. Our pastoral care team here is to create a loving community for all of us, to hold a burden when we can't hold it ourselves. It is co-creation in the most sacred sense. It is the work of creating a community of mutual care and accompaniment. I'd like to invite our pastoral care coordinator, Sue Erie, up to talk a little bit about her role in our community. Sue?
Good morning. My name is Sue Erie. I serve as Pastoral Care Coordinator for Neighborhood Church with the support and hard work of 12 pastoral care team members and the critical involvement of volunteers identified in our survey, the one you found on your chairs. Through the generosity and kindness of these members, we are pleased to provide basic short-term services such as rides to doctor's appointments and occasionally to church, meals for those recovering from illness, although home-cooked meals are welcome. Grubhub works too. We are not all cooks. Phone calls and emails to housebound members, notes, cards, and letters for support, errands, and grocery shopping. Additionally to the basic services, the pastoral care team itself provides specialized services such as Zoom and phone consultations, resource research, peer support, volunteer group coordination, holiday wreath deliveries, and more memorial receptions like the one we did yesterday. The effect of our work on those our volunteers serve is always appreciated and occasionally critical to the member. Our volunteers often find renewed or newly formed connections after the forced separation of COVID in an active platform for their Unitarian beliefs. Last year, a combination of services provided by our church volunteers and the pastoral care team totaled 894 services. Our church members knew they had support through pastoral care and requested services they perhaps never anticipated needing, but were critical to their recovery. They were either faced with illness or, in the best of circumstances, like a new baby in the family. Today, we have featured members that have stories to tell about the experiences giving or receiving services, sometimes both, through pastoral care. Our ability to serve rests on you, both your generosity in volunteering and strength in asking for help when you need it, which is very hard, I know. Since we create a new database each year, we hope you will complete your new form right now. For people attending the service online, you can access our pastoral care survey form by going to the pastoral care page on our neighborhood website under menu. People's lives and availability change, and we need current information for every volunteer. We assign volunteers located closest to the requesting member with matching needs and preferences, so if you were not called in the past, please know you were not being ignored. Our pastoral care program is one of the most important functions of this healthy church community. Thank you so much for what you have accomplished. Please take a few minutes now to keep it strong by completing your survey form. You can give it to your form to your team members in the narthex or at our table on the patio as you leave. We look forward to working with you.
I'd like to take this moment to invite you to raise your hand if you have ever either received pastoral care here. That includes attending a memorial service where they have been present, or they've given you a ride or helped you with some other issue, or you have provided pastoral care here. Please raise your hands. And I'd invite you, if you are able, to take a look around the room and see how many people have participated with pastoral care here, either as receiving or giving. Amazing. Now, I'd like you to keep your hands up. And maybe, I invite everybody to raise your hands up if you are able, or maybe even both hands, because I would love to bless this pastoral care team and all of our caregivers and receivers. That's right. We can feel that energy. Go ahead and feel that energy. Feel it in your palm. Send it out into the world from your heart space out. And then as it swirls in the room, perhaps you feel it and receive it in your own heart. Thank you, Sue, for all that you do for our community. And thank you to our caregivers.
Our closing hymn is number 103 in your gray hymnal or on the screens above. Please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing hymn number 103, For All the Saints.
Moving by faith.
Go forth today, knowing that when bad things happened, you just need to look for the helpers. There are always helpers, and perhaps that helper is you. Today we extinguish our chalice, but we do not extinguish the love that this community holds for each other, a partnership in the sacred co-creation of beloved community through pastoral care. May it be so.